light that's coming from the front. Where now you can fill in the blanks here. I'm not sure if the autopsy was performed not there, but it was at Bethesda Naval Hospital when they took Kennedy's body there, the autopsy, or was it performed at Parkland?
No, it should have been done in Parkland because at the time there was no federal law. Assassination was first-degree murder, essentially. It would have been covered by the state of Texas. This was not a federal crime at the time. So the autopsy should have technically been done at Parkland Hospital in Dallas. But of course, the body was moved, one could say illegally, to Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland, outside of D.C., where the autopsy was done. And I mean, there's all sorts of suspicious activity.
My friend,
revolving around the autopsy.
His name was Yosh. Yosh. All right, well that's another one, but don't fuck with that one. Really? Yeah. Why? Now you can hear my friend. Don't fuck with that one. That was fine. Log in.
And it was at this point at the Bethesda Naval Hospital where Kennedy's brain was removed as potential evidence, as potential crime scene evidence, and was preserved in the National Archives of all places.
ViralRabbi.
Stayed for at least
Search.
Right, because
ViralRabbi.
if you're looking to determine the trajectory of the bullet that was
YouTube.
the mortal head wound, that would be found in the brain. And so forth, and certainly with the brain.
Triple zeros.
Not to get
Why not?
Whatever was left.
I was like, it just rolls off the tongue, yo. It's easy.
And so
just keep it simple. It's like that guy taught you that one time. Keep it simple, stupid. Just easy. 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 Don't complicate it. You should be like, Mikey, the only thing you could have done better is have a 72 character password.
Okay, so at what point is it missing?
Well, it goes missing in 1967.
Create this fucking account, dog.
How did they discover that it was missing?
Oh, dog, look at this. Soccer. Yo, I should be like, oh, may I please do it? Please, may I do it? I'll be like, yeah, okay. You should be like, oh, dog. Oh. Starts chewing on himself. Okay, calm down, dude. Oh, got that one. Got that one. No, you should be, dude, I did that once. Really? Oh, dude, I did right here. Right here. You see that? I did that. No, not that.
Okay, so now along comes your acquaintance.
It's like this.
And during the conversation,
Verify.
he tells you,
oh, I used my thumb.
Okay,
dog.
Correct.
Is this like a thing?
All right, so let's get into it.
Oh, verification required. He kick ass. Oh, I like how it was comic contest. That was sick. Yoshi. Share for world peace. I love a monkey. Hey, monkey boy. Next. Don't search that shit. Yeah, give me student pictures. Verification required. Okay, dog. Okay. Yoshi was like, oh, verification required. She was like, oh, okay. Proton mail. Remember when it was like log in and they had like a thing? Like every fucking thing had. It was like, oh, dog. Sign in. Oh, you okay.
And removed the brain from the vault of the National Archives and put it in Kennedy's coffin. And the brain is
my God.
buried with John F.
Is that
Kennedy
it?
in
Something like that.
National Cemetery.
Yo,
and his
dog.
motivation for doing this,
Yo.
Robert Kennedy's motivation for this
Yoshi.
he was deeply distressed and concerned that the brain was going to wind up somehow, somewhere.
Yo, should you save it?
What you would describe as a carnival.
Logging into the Proton account. Yo, Discord. Click the Discord. Yo, should be like, stick your nose in there. Grandpa, C-Rod's grandpa be like, stick your nose in there.
That deeply distressed him and worried him.
Look at this move, yo.
When the body was being moved, when JFK's body was being moved.
Oh, you got triple zeros on this bitch.
Robert Kennedy
I have a headache. I think that's so hard. So hardly. Now let's make sure you're a human. Let's make sure you're a human.
Subsequently buried where it is today. today
man.
in Arlington National Cemetery.
Somebody
That
like,
was
yeah,
the
dude, this
story
job
that was told
sucks.
to me,
Continue to
and I had
Discord.
absolutely no reason to doubt it.
Yo, dog.
So what's interesting about that, and that's a remarkable story.
Verified by phone.
I tend to believe it because, first of all, you're a credible person. I believe you, and I have faith in your judgment and character. So you say this person was credible. What's interesting, though, is that one of the theories as to why Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated was because he was trying to get to the bottom of his brother's assassination. Who was responsible?
All right. Well, that's still cool as fuck.
And that brain, as we mentioned earlier, would have contained key evidence. He would have been in possession of the brain for a period of time. I would imagine he would have maybe examined it, would have been interested to know, was the fatal, the mortal head wound.
So then, are you done? Or should be like, is this done?
Instead of behind.
Like, I don't know.
And yet, he had the brain. He never spoke of it, at least publicly. What do you think of that? What do you make of that?
Right. It's a fair point. But my understanding of it is that it was told to me was that RFK was much more worried about the brain falling into the hands of someone unscrupulous.
You got to do the most impossible thing of all time.
Robert Kennedy had always believed that there were right-wing elements in the CIA and the FBI who had plotted against his brother and had killed him. That was no state secret at the time. That was somewhat well known. They may have kept it on the wrap. But RFK had always believed something, suspicious had happened November 22nd.
Yoshi, look at this one.
And certainly the idea that the brain could have possibly revealed the track of the bullet is certainly possible. The story was told to me that the brain was taken and put in the coffin relatively quickly, so I don't believe that
this thing's gonna be fucking impossible.
Was done,
Yoshi, oh dog, what the fuck was that? Failed?
It's certainly a valid point.
Try it again, dog.
There's enough evidence without even examining the brain, me personally, to realize just when you look at the Zapruder film to realize that that shot from the front,
that
the
bitch.
headshot to Kennedy came from the front. I mean, I think that's hard to argue with.
Fuck
but
that.
At any rate, again,
Yoshi, go here.
That the brain was going to again
Yoshi.
in the hands of someone unscrupulous.
30-30, dog.
Essentially in a freak show, and because of that reason, he wanted it buried with his brother, where it would be out of sight forever. And again, I'll just reiterate, I personally have no eyewitness. This is a story that was told to me. I have no firsthand knowledge of this. But the person who did tell me this was 100% credible, and I can relate to you and the audience that he would have no reason whatsoever to be deceptive or to make up a story or anything like that. This was 100%. I mean, I believe it when I heard it, and I believe it to this day.
All right, well.
You're not accepting bad requests. What the fuck, dog?
The mystery of Atlantis was finally laid to rest. Laid to rest another mystery. The location of JFK's brain.
Okay, dog.
Robert W. Sullivan is with us.
Send this motherfucker request.
Launch into our discussion on symbolism. And just give us I know you've been on the program many times, so maybe
can we get to know each other?
Program who haven't heard you speak about this.
Hell yeah, baby.
Occult symbols hidden in films. What do we mean by occult symbols hidden in films? Like, who's doing it and why?
Right. Well, this is a very broad topic, and it's not just symbols. It covers an array of tropes, of themes. I mean, you're dealing with when you're dealing with hidden icons, symbols, themes, and films. I mean, it's everything. It's not just one thing, like a symbol hanging on a wall in the background. I mean, it's much deeper than that. I mean, it's an examination of the costuming, the setting, the symbol, the themes, and what makes it even more complex is it depends on the context in which all this is presented. What I mean to say when I say that is that the surrounding circumstances of how it's presented can be completely separate or different in another film. And that makes it even more complex because you can't paint
Yo,
mean
dog.
one thing, but presented in a slightly different way in another film could mean something or can convey a different meaning altogether. So, and another thing that is very, very interesting, and this is something that I was hoping to delve into a little bit with you tonight, is actually the use of a certain actor or actress can be used to convey something, or hint at something. What I describe, the easiest way for me to describe this is by employing an actor or an actress in a certain film, if they bring the cinematic baggage with them from an earlier film, it's not typecasting.
Yo, dog.
And it really creates, the only way I can describe this is it creates what's I call pop culture balance, where it invests in the film with some sort of hidden undercurrent
because it's
that
fucking
the filmmaker
impossible.
is trying to employ or convey to the audience. And when I first started looking at this, I thought it was very.
Yo,
very
go back to the thing.
I thought it was very scarce.
What is it called?
Years later, 4 or 5 years later,
Yo.
discovering this, it's much more widespread. And when you look at really the very sophisticated filmmakers, Darren Aronofsky, Guillermo del Toro, Stanley Kubrick, which was one of the ones
that was a tight move.
Tonight.
I like that one.
These guys really know what they're doing.
That was pretty sick.
So when we talk about cult themes or cult symbols in movies, again, it's a very broad topic, and it can cover anything from costuming to actors to symbols, to themes related to alchemy, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, mysticism.
Dude, you're already logged in. Just fucking type it in.
Right. And again,
Put your little thing here. That's fine. Whatever.
Talking about,
They're not
some
gonna
sort
fuck with that,
of
dog.
influence that is
Upload Avatar, dog.
Hollywood, and that they're
There you
trying
go, son.
to
There you go, baby.
promote
Now what?
Satanism.
No, that was
or
tight.
Occultism.
Save that
through
shit.
movies. It's not
How about this
that.
bitch?
It's
They let me do it
about
red once.
using a cult or
Really?
hidden
No, fuck you.
symbols,
Oh, dude, it just did.
themes,
It's tight.
all of the things
It's like
you
a
just
groovy,
described.
but that's
simply
crazy
to
that that
add,
worked. Okay,
more
pimp.
depth and meaning,
Now what?
and to turn a film into
ViralRabbi.
piece of art, right?
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, it's like I said.
Oh, you could like
it.
him.
You have to look at the context. There
Dude,
are
that's
films that I do
impossible.
believe have a very sinister aspect to them that are
I want
very
to find
diabolical, and
Yo,
really are kind of what I describe as the devil dwells in the celluloid. But again, my examination of it has led me to believe that you have to look at each film individually.
Yo, that was tight.
You can't paint with strokes.
Okay, Robert, I got to jump in here. We're going to take a timeout, head on into a break. John Lennon from his rock and roll album, Slippin' in the Slide, right here on Coast to Coast AM.
Gosh. I'm stone aged. Gosh. Viral? Really? Yeah. Type in Gosh. What? No, dog. That's because I'm trying to get in that bitch. Yo, dog. This is bullshit. I swear to God. This Discord doesn't want anybody to have any fun. Really? Motherfuckers. Yo, shit.
I'm Andrew Carabella from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The man convicted of killing college student Kristen Smart has been sentenced to 25 years to life in prison.
What the
San
fuck,
Luis Obispo
Josh?
County DA Dan Dow says justice was served.
Today's guilty verdict provides some sense of justice for Kristen,
Oh,
for
shit.
Smarts, and for our community.
Smart was 19 years old when she disappeared in
There you
1996. Her
go.
body has never been found. And more presenters for Sunday night's Academy Awards are being announced. Joining the list are Harrison Ford, John Travolta,
This one.
Halle Bailey, Elizabeth Banks, and Sigourney
Halle
Weaver.
Bailey?
Also
Who the
scheduled to
fuck
hand
is
out the
Halle
Golden
Bailey?
Statues are Antonio Banderas,
Halle Berry.
Jessica Chastain, Hugh Grant, Emily Blunt,
Jeff-
Zoe
Jeff-
Saldana,
Jen-
and
Je-
Nicole Kidman.
Je-
The 95th
Jennifer
annual
Chastain,
Oscar
done?
ceremony takes
Alright,
place
are you
this
done?
weekend
Yeah, I
in
got it.
Hollywood, and Jimmy Kimmel will host.
Oh boy,
Nearby weather,
I gotta
Sunday
be there
will
for
be
that.
cloudy in the morning, then some
Really?
clouds in
That'd
the
be a big
afternoon.
deal.
Highs in the mid 50s to around 60 at the beaches.
Are you
Inland
done?
Metro LA
My
and
friend
Sunset
Yosh?
High E and high desert.
He was
To
like,
Leave
oh,
Local,
dog.
from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Andrew Carabella.
A crash in downtown LA, the 110 northbound before the 101. That crash is blocking lanes and has you stop and go from Olympic. Had an earlier stall on the 101 southbound before Highland in Hollywood. That
Gosh.
stall's been cleared. You're slow from Universal.
What if you go
Studios
like
Boulevard.
this?
Mid-City to 10 westbound at
Search.
Crenshaw. Look out for an accident blocking the right lane. And in orange on the 22 eastbound at 57 107, you've got a crash in lanes to the 57 north. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
Yosh. Did it work?
You
One,
lost
five,
your
five.
cat up
God
the
damn, I
street.
hate this fucking commercial.
Way up there and scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thanks,
Shut the
kid.
fuck up, dude.
Here you go.
Where did you come from?
What
And
is
where's
this?
your
Yosh.
hat and cape?
What?
Yosh.
Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out
Dude,
your shower
shut the
drain.
fuck up, then do it and get
They
the
were
fuck
the
out of
same
here,
too.
dog.
Really?
Your drain was really clogged. Back it up.
Alright,
And you
dog.
have to stop that nasty stuff from
Dude,
invading
shut
your
the fuck
bathroom.
up, man.
So you're a hero?
That's from Manny. That's not
Every day.
from me.
We
Don't
are
blame me.
superheroes.
I didn't do it.
Thanks for
This room is a
rescuing George.
shithole.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a clogged drain, call your hero plumbing and air.
I love how they order
That's really no really. Join
And you
best friends Jason
refuse.
Alexander
Yeah,
and
but-
Peter Tobin, along with experts, newsmakers, and celebrities,
Yo.
search for answers to life's most baffling, intriguing, and annoying questions. You know, those things that make you go, really? No, really?
I
Yosh.
think there was a 17-year-old in Rhode Island who ran a candidate that was a deepfake. Really? Wait, that's news to me. That's really no really right there. Really no real.
4?
Listen to Really No Really on the
Is it
iHeart
called
Radio
4?
app or wherever you get your podcast.
If you own
5?
a small business, you got through COVID,
Yosh.
and you were able to retain 5 or more
6?
employees, you could be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000
Yosh.
per employee. Do the math on that one. That's real money. So let me
Yoshi.
suggest getrefunds.com. You answer
What?
3 questions, takes under 10 minutes, and you'll see if your business qualifies for this tax refund. There's no charge up front. They don't get paid until your business gets paid. And businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP
Oh.
and nonprofits, even if
I like
you
how
get
all these are
increases in
really
sales
big.
during COVID. They are
Join this
experts in
bitch
little
muted.
known payroll tax
No, 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 no,
program.
no. No, send the fuck. Oh, no, it's not that.
$3
Yosh.
billion to businesses
Oh, it's that
in my
stupid
business,
ass thing.
a 6-figure
Yosh,
refund.
this is so
to
fucking
find
dumb.
out if your business
I swear to God, no one
qualifies,
wants anybody to use this fucking
refunds.com.
service.
Click on the
Some
qualify
old lady's gonna be like, yeah, dude,
Only
this is
takes
the
a few
hardest thing
minutes.
to ever use ever.
Go to getrefunds.com.
God damn it. Yosh, give me this fucking thing.
Why would a plumber just tell
Join.
me what it costs to unclog
All right.
my drain over the phone? Is it
Are we
that
in?
complicated?
No, it's not. It makes no sense.
All right,
at all.
here we
They
go.
obviously have a
Search
price.
about Rabbi.
Wow.
You've
Let's
been
check out this one. Oh, verify the
Mike
video.
Diamond, the smell good plumber.
Yo,
Will
dog.
you tell me
Are you
how to
done?
uninstall my drain?
I'll
$99.
teach her on
But you
stuff.
haven't seen it.
Yoshi.
Doesn't matter if it's a kitchen sink or a mainline sewer stoppage. The smell
A
good
mail.
plumbers
It doesn't
at
even
Mike
matter
Diamond
if it's a mainline
will
sewer
almost
stoppage.
any
Girls.
drain for $99.
Oh my God! Now you want this or the cat guy?
But you can read all about them on our website before you
Are
call. Just go to
you done?
thesmellgoodplumber.com.
Wow,
Yoshi.
you're up front and everything. I just told a guy named Bubba who wouldn't tell me anything.
No Bubba's here, ma'am. Just professional plumbers who show up on time, smell good, and unclog drains for $99. Call us 1-800-446-MIKE. Contact your license number 399.
Shana, Shana.
AM 640.
What up, beautiful?
Network presents Coast to Coast AM. Now, here's your guest host, Richard Serrett. Welcome back. This one for the fans of Yellowstone. You may have heard Lainey Wilson on the TV.
Hi, how are you? UFO Amy, do you speak English? Oh, because I really like UFOs and I want to talk to somebody about them.
Clusters of galaxies, ultra-massive black holes are some of the largest.
Oh man, so I like to watch UFO documentaries like the Disclosure Project. Have you ever seen the Disclosure Project?
Billion suns. That's what the big billion suns, making them far more monstrous.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My apologies. Take care. But you should know that I'll make your clan famous. I stream my life all day, every day, and your clan's gonna be really cool. So shout out to the UFO clan. Look at all these devices I have. So your clan's gonna be very famous. I'm so sorry, UFO Amy. But your taste in music is very good. I like. So I'm sorry I interrupted. Take care, UFO Amy. Bye-bye.
is a live stage
You are
show,
such a
part of the
dude.
Sedona Ascension Retreat.
UFO, and we're a clan.
That's a
Oh.
free show. You have to
Let's
get
talk
tickets for
about
the
UFOs.
Sedona Ascension Retreat.
Yo's just gonna shit himself. He's gonna have to literally spend a day in the bathroom, the whole day. We're a clan.
AscensionRetreats.com. SedonaAscensionRetreats.com, or just go to coasttocoastam.com and go up in the menu bar and find George Norrie and events, and it's all right there.
We're a clan.
Conversation with Robert W. Sullivan IV as we talk about occult casting
I
in
love
the
it.
movies.
Cool,
Right after
Rabbi.
these on Coast to Coast AM.
No one's in your thing. We're a clan. Oh, okay.
For a limited time, it's
All right,
back. The
UFO
1
aliens.
ounce solid
We don't
silver
talk
Ghana
about
alien
aliens
coin,
and stuff.
part of the Silver Starter chip.
You had
just
people.
for
I was.
Coast
Holy
to
shit.
Coast
This is where disclosure's gonna happen. Really? Dog, did you see how many UFO people there were? I was like, oh, dog. And they're so about it because I was like, bouillon, bouillon. All right, dog. Do you think you can sign up on this page?
You get 5 ounces
Let's
of
try.
silver and fantastic collector pieces that are solid silver, like the Austrian Philharmonic coin and the Britain Britannia. We all know inflation is getting worse. The stock market had its worst year since 2008, and now is the time to diversify into precious metals that you can store at your home. Bullion Max ships them to you fully insured. Hedge the stock market, hedge the U.S. dollar, start building
Keep
your
it
wealth
simple.
in
You
precious
should make it
metals
simple. Search
at
ViralRabbi
bullionmax.com/coast.
in
Bullionmax.com/coast.
YouTube Live. It's rolls off the tongue.
People, real stories.
You should be like, I don't really know how we can make it
tried
easier.
every cream and ointment that you can imagine. It's pretty miserable.
If you do that,
So I started taking the Onavora, and
you might find it.
at this point, I don't want to ever be without it.
Our little dog developed this lymph problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months. He started developing more lymph nodes that were swelled up. So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to go down, swelling did. Then I took him into the vet and checked out, and there was no signs at all inside.
Yo,
The cat had issues that developed in his eye, so my veterinarian said, you know what, just go ahead and remove the eye. Heard the carnivore,
Some rabbits would be
so I
vibing
said,
with
you
all
know
these
what,
right
I'm
now.
gonna order this from it. They did all
Oh
the
my
things, I
God.
kid you not. He promised
She need a
to save
tarp.
his eye.
Some ladies need a tarp around her fucking bed. She's just streaming out of her vagina so badly. All right, are you done?
Or visit carnivore.com.
1948. Make it action. Yosh. Dude, you are so smart, man. Yosh, you are so smart.
And
Like,
we are back with Robert
yeah, no big deal.
Sullivan IV
Really?
talking about symbolism.
Look at
occult
this,
symbolism
Yosh.
in the movies. And
Look at-
we're going to focus on one
Oh,
type
bird
of,
sitting in a tree. I thought it was just yellow birds.
cinema symbolism,
Bird
and that
sitting
is
in a tree.
occult casting.
Am I missing something? That's every
So
one except two.
just to kind of give us
That was crazy. Josh should be like, oh, Mikey, it was crazy.
I think
Then
there's a good
there were
one
all these
with,
birds and trees, and you were
before
like,
the
am I
Shining. So
losing it?
There's another example with the actor that Sir Alec Guinness, who of course was Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. There's
UFO,
another, I think we talked about
Amy, your
his
clan is.
casting in another movie that
Oh,
was,
fuck.
I guess, supposed to evoke memories of
Verified by
Star Wars
email.
or something like that.
No, it's the
Oh,
one you're
okay.
talking about is Max von Sydow.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Yo,
Well,
oh, it's not
this
gonna
is a good
let you do it on
example.
there.
There's many. But
It's
we
gonna
can
be a
start with
bitch.
This one. This was when
Really?
in,
Yeah.
in the one in Star Wars Episode 7, when the movie opens on the desert planet,
Yoshi.
and this is where Kylo Ren is coming for the relic.
Hey,
that
Kylo, man.
the
How about
Max
you
von
kiss
Sydow
my
character
fucking
has. He
ass?
passes it on
Fuck.
to the Poe character, and then they confront.
How about you kiss my
Von
fucking
Sydow
ass, though?
confronts Kylo Ren, and he gets ultimately
Oh,
killed.
it's, how about you?
And it begs
What
the
is it? It's
question,
called
and this
Gmail,
is,
dog.
You know, it's like, well, why are you casting Max von Sydow?
Yo, dog. Yo, I should be like, oh, dog. Mikey was doing this, and then he got this thing going. Everybody could see what he was doing, and he didn't get a fucking fuck. He was just like, dude, you can see.
There was just
Oh,
something that was like a
fuck.
splinter in my head. It just wasn't sitting right. And it
Security
wasn't
alert,
sinister or
security
anything,
alert.
but it just stirred this curiosity. I kind of felt like
A
I'd seen this
copyright
all
claim was
before.
created.
And sure enough, and this is kind of what I'm talking about when I say occult casting, the use of an
Oh,
actor
no.
or actress mind. The placing of Von Sydow in the Star Wars Episode 7 is designed to implant in your subconscious mind two other movies that Von Sydow was in, and they're The Exorcist and Dune. And what I mean is this: when the character in the Star Wars movie, again, Episode 7, The Force Awakens, comes out and confronts Kylo Ren and gets struck down. I mean, it brings to mind, what other Max von Sydow movie opens in the desert and he stands up to a dark, evil figure. And of course, the first one is The Exorcist, where he steps out by plays a Jesuit priest in the deserts of Iraq, and then he finds the statue of Pazuzu, and he confronts him. And of course, that's the opening scene. And then there's another one, which is Dune, where Von Sydow is, of course, on Arrakis, which is the desert planet, and because you stand up to a dark, evil figure, and of course, yes, it is. It's Baron Harkonnen, and in that movie, he gets struck down right away. So why do this? Why place Von Sydow in Star Wars? But the idea is,
black
the way
in
this
some
works
countries.
is, like putting Von Sydow at the beginning of that movie, it's transferring
weird
the
rules
Exorcist and Dune to
Dude,
your
yo,
subconscious
this
mind.
sucks.
It's not subconsciously.
Close
it's done
this.
very surreptitiously.
That's just bad news,
what it
dog.
does is it invests Kylo Ren and the First Order with sort of the,
how about like a new thing? You should do it. You'd be like, oh, you go like this, then you go like this,
and that's what I
and
mean
you
by
go like this.
That's for real movie fans, though. I mean, that's.
I like how Gmail couldn't even load its own fucking email system, and like their competitors do it better.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Von Sydow was in Dune and he was in this movie. That's why he's doing it. It's almost like they put that Easter egg in there just for
why are
you.
you taking
Yeah,
so
it's an
goddamn
Easter egg,
long
and it's
fucking
very hard to pick up on, but it's also, I can see it, so I mean, I can point it out, but if you're watching the movie, again, what a lot of these guys, what these directors like to do is tweak with your subconscious mind by using archetypal imagery in this case. So it's almost one of those things where it affects the movie.
How about log out, dog?
That's sort of the level these guys are working on. I know the look for it. So I can kind of spot it. And like I said, when I first started doing this, the very first movie I noticed was the sequel to The Matrix. I believe it was called Matrix Reloaded, maybe it was. And it was the use of Anthony Zerbe, the actor in it. And the sequel to The Matrix, the use of Zerbe was cross-referencing Omega Man and Charlton Heston, because Zerbe gives a speech in the Matrix movie, which is exactly the same as the one he gives in Omega Man.
That's not a thing anymore. Whatever your little plot was there,
if you're familiar with Matrix and you're familiar with my research, those movies
try to get on here.
are Gnostic cinema.
Try it.
That's the Valentinian strain. And when you're doing Gnosticism, so the fact that they would use Zerbe to reverse everything isn't surprising. That's the first movie I noticed it with. And again, when you're dealing with adroit filmmakers, you can see it. And like I said, the Von Sydow example in Star Wars is just a classic example of this. And as I was telling you, I think the last time we talked, I was rewatching all the James Bond movies, and I actually discovered some anomalies in there as well. And of course, there's really a great one in The Shining that's just uncanny, that I just actually discovered within the last week. That's fantastic.
All right, well, let's get into The Shining. Before that, I just wanted to mention another example. You mentioned that.
Remember when it was like accounts?
Star Wars 7. And he's confronting evil, and that's a callback, I guess, to
verify
The Exorcist. But the other one example would
be
Von Sydow as Jesus in the greatest story ever told. Isn't he in the desert confronting the devil? The temptation in the wilderness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
okay, Yoshi, got it.
I mean, you can look at it like
done?
that.
Yoshi, like, is this done?
In the Star Wars,
what?
Is what? Star Wars
he'd be like, is what?
Movie, though, what I would say is,
he'd be like, all this.
Oh, dog. He's a hermit.
This is so fucking stupid.
When you
What?
Watch,
continue to Discord.
The Exorcist and Dune,
close that? Should I close that?
More in line with a hermit than he is of a Christ.
Should I close
figure,
that?
like a savior figure.
Yeah, what else?
So again, it's very narrow.
Did you know you
could
quickly?
what you're saying is,
Am I already logged in with something?
Also.
Okay,
Join
so now we're going to talk about The Shining.
Oh man.
1980.
Hey, cool people.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yoshi,
Adaptation
what
of,
account is this?
Stephen King's book of the same name,
Right.
taking place
What
at
is
the
the
Overlook
name?
Hotel
What is its link?
in Colorado. Jack Nicholson, of course, that
Copy
classic
link.
role as Jack Torrance and Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers.
It's
So
just called
there's
Call.
an example of a cult casting in The Shining.
It should have a unique
Right.
link.
The one thing that's really unique with The Shining, and certainly we've talked about this before, is the whole thing with Kubrick exposing the moon landing through the use of a little boy, the Apollo 11 sweatshirt, the room 237, which is the distance from Earth to the moon. And of course, the idea with this is that Kubrick actually, filmed the footage of these guys hopping around in some sort of secret, government soundstage somewhere. And Kubrick is tipping off people to this in The Shining.
Or he's playing around with it because he knows that people think that he was responsible for faking the moon landing. And so maybe he's just kind of having some fun with it.
No
Well,
keyboard.
the idea is that he actually filmed it, and again, this is not far-fetched. Kubrick used in the film that he came out prior to The Shining,
ViralRabbi.
Barry Lyndon. He actually used NASA technology to film that movie. So Kubrick worked hand in hand with NASA and the government. So the idea that he staged this is not that far-fetched, especially when you know that Barry Lyndon was made with NASA lenses, NASA cinema lenses, camera lenses. And of course, if you watch The Shining, the whole thing with the little boy with the Apollo 11, sweater, he stands up, goes to 237. The distance from the Earth to the moon was 237,000 miles. So the question begs is there anything else in there that Kubrick is sort of tipping you off to that he could have staged this moon landing? They may have went. I mean, the theory is they could have gone to the moon, but they couldn't film there. So they hired Kubrick based on Strangelove in 2001 to film this footage in a top secret government lab somewhere, soundstage.
Right, as an insurance policy, so that they could prove to the world that they did go there, even though they did go there.
Correct. They couldn't film on the moon is the theory. They just couldn't.
Right.
So they had
that makes sense.
Right, they had Kubrick stage this. So the question then becomes: is there any other movie that came out recently prior to The Shining that actually depicts them taking the moon landing in a top secret government soundstage? And the answer is yes. In 1971, the James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever is released. If you're familiar with that film, this is the last of the Sean Connery James Bond movies. This was the last time he played a mechanical James Bond movie. Last time he played 007. He breaks into a top secret government facility in the Nevada desert, which is obviously supposed to be Area 51. He's walking around. And of course, he gets found out, so it chases Susan. He actually winds up inside a soundstage where they're faking the moon landing.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he escapes in a fake lunar vehicle. They got the astronauts hopping around and taking the soil samples, and they're filming the fake moon landing. So then the question becomes, okay, does Stanley Kubrick in The Shining reference James Bond anymore? As sort of like an homage to Diamonds Are Forever, to tip you off that he don't take the moon landing. Is there a James Bond reference in The Shining anywhere? And the answer to the question is there's the biggest one of all. And that is, and this will fall through the cracks, is most people, and myself included until recently, if you ask someone who was the first actor to play James Bond, your answer would have immediately gone to Sean Connery in Dr. No.
There's David Niven, perhaps David Niven.
False. The first actor to play James Bond, believe it or not, is none other than Barry Nelson, who played it in 1954 in a TV made-for-movie on a TV show called Climax, where they actually put on a live performance of Casino Royale, which is Ian Fleming's first novel. Who's Barry Nelson? Well, of course, if you're familiar with The Shining, Barry Nelson is Stuart Ullman, the guy who hires Jack Torrance near the beginning of the Overlook Hotel. He's the first actor to play James Bond. So Kubrick actually places James Bond in the movie by hiring Barry Nelson. And Nelson's hiring is a direct reference, is subconsciously telling your mind that he is employing James Bond to lease the Overlook Hotel to rent it out to to hire Jack Torrance as the caretaker, and by employing James Bond himself, I find it to be a completely under-the-table homage to Diamonds Are Forever. And Kubrick is again sort of suggesting that he is the guy who faked the moon landing footage. And I found that fascinating. I had no idea about that. I just discovered that. Richard and
No, you didn't.
Barry
What the fuck is
Nelson,
this?
Stuart Holman is the first actor to play 007. It was not Sean Connery.
It would have been too obvious if he hired Sean Connery to play.
Of course, yeah.
Stuart Holman, right?
But I mean, I just found that fascinating. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it when I found that out. Yeah, it was Barry Nelson was the first actor to play James Bond in a TV production of Climax from 1954.
So,
Gosh.
I guess you could see that you could view The Shining as a kind of Stanley Kubrick's confession.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. I think when you look at the evidence of it, with the little boy with the Apollo 11, and then you have Diamonds. I think the evidence definitely, as a lawyer, definitely begins to tip the scales without question in favor that, yeah, Kubrick definitely must have had a hand in this. And then again, the real smoking gun on all this, which a lot of people aren't aware of, is the movie that he made before The Shining, which was Barry Lyndon, which, he filmed with NASA lenses. I'll just add real quick, the reason he needed NASA technology for Barry Lyndon, it set during the Napoleonic era.
Look at all these
One
birds,
of the
Josh.
scenes exclusively lit by candlelight, which you
I
can't
missed
do.
one.
They're too dark. If you ever watch a
I
movie
just
in the
did the
40s,
fucking
50s,
bird
or even
thing.
60s, whenever there's a scene set by exclusive candlelight, you can see that NASA had developed lenses that were way ahead of their time that allowed you to do that. They fractured the light, enhanced the candlelight. So Kubrick found this out and went to NASA and got these cameras, got these specific lenses that he used to film these scenes strictly lit by candlelight in Barry Lyndon. And again, that's sort of the real smoking gun on this is it proves this relationship, the symbiotic relationship between Kubrick and NASA. And when you couple that with what's going on in The Shining, it certainly now you can add in Barry Nelson as a James Bond Diamonds Are Forever reference. James Bond himself. Yeah, I think the scales are definitely tilted to the idea that Kubrick had a hand in this.
Robert W. Sullivan IV, Cinema Symbolism, Volumes 1 through 3. Are you working on Volume 4?
Yes, I am. That is actually being worked on as I speak, and that is coming along very, very well.
How often
Bird
do you
in a
watch a
tree.
movie until you start to make all of these
KISSI.
connections, casting and so on? How often do you have to watch the film?
Oh, more than once. Usually when I watch a movie for the first time, it's usually just done for entertainment value, unless it becomes very, very obvious to me that there are things just leaping off the screen, the flat screen at me. But no, more than one time, and even on multiple occasions, I'll miss something. There are movies to this day that if I sit down and watch them, despite the fact of having watched them countless times in the past, I'm inevitably going to pick up on something new. I think of a movie like Black Swan. The one that I've watched repeatedly that's just overloaded with stuff is the last Halloween movie, Halloween Ends. That's got lots of stuff going on in it. That's what I would describe as if a Halloween movie was made by David Lynch, that's what it would look like. Because I think
What if it
really
was made by
with
Michael?
reality,
What?
what's happening and what's
Dude,
happening
Greg
on the screen.
Richardson could get really
Is
good
Michael Myers even there? Lots
horror
going on in
movie
that movie.
director. He'd be
Like
very
I
good,
said to
like
you,
one of the best.
I just went back and rewatched all the James Bond movies from
Oh,
start
dude,
to
you
finish.
received an invite.
Lots going on in those.
Yeah,
The
wow,
one that I
that's
just
invite.
picked up on was the one I just mentioned, but there's another one from 1975, The Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh, let's get to that when we come back. Pardon the interruption, Robert. We're going to roll to the top of the hour here. Let's talk
Oh,
about
okay, fine.
the occult symbolism
Go, dog.
in the James Bond
Message.
movie franchise. Robert W. Sullivan IV.
Are you
stays with us.
fucking serious?
Cinema Symbolism now.
Taste it, dog. Taste it.
Taking us into
Gosh.
Birdwood Sugar
But,
Sugar
go
right
ahead
here
and bite.
on Coast to Coast AM.
Like, check your facts, dog. Really? Yeah, that one's in it. What is this bullshit? What's going on up there, you fuck? Oh, shoot. Oh, my Christ. Hey, is your phone Amy? Okay, that one's 8. That's 10. Why do you know?
Attention Southern California, Central Solar is ready to install your solar now and complete your paperwork in time for NEM2. They have teams working around the clock 7 days a week and have processed over 35,000 applications and counting. More than any solar company in California. No one works harder than Semper does with esprit de corps and honor. Go solar American style. Declare your independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor who gets the job done right. Imagine no money out of pocket, no payments until 2024. Call 877-211-5591. Worried about blackouts? Tesla and Enphase batteries are in stock. Plus, Semper offers new furnace and AC systems with a lifetime warranty and new roof.
Person is named Yoshi. Had them.
For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit sempersolaris.com. Approved credit expires 3/31/23. CSL /7152.
What are your chances of actually connecting with a real hitman?
You're not going to connect with an actual hitman over the internet.
See, there you are. Is there like a LinkedIn page for this?
Why are you so interested?
I don't know. That's not my style, but
Do you know somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy?
that would be it. It would be a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Bill Handel. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. I watched like 3 minutes. 3 minutes of Emmy Awards. I had to puke. Well, you got to boycott them. Hold on. Delete me, would you? You did? Okay. Delete me. No, we need physically delete me. Yeah, John and Ken. And here I have to have decorum, and I hate decorum. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. The people in prison committed the crimes, period. And that's all that matters. Their color, their ethnicity doesn't matter. They committed the crimes. And gangs are in the business of crime. John and Ken, they don't do anything else but commit crimes all day. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Shop full of stimulating talk.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Family tragedy in the Valley. I'm Andrew Carabello from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A man has been arrested for allegedly stabbing and killing his mother in Porter Ranch. The man walked into the LAPD's Devonshire Division Police Station on Friday and told cops he thought he heard his mom. Cops went to the home inside the guard-gated community of the high-tech Porter Ranch and found the mother dead. Former Vice President Pence has unleashed his harshest criticism yet of former President Trump for his role in the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Pence made the remarks on Saturday evening at the annual White Tie Gridiron Dinner, where politicians and journalists gathered in Washington. Pence said, "I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day." The former VP said he knows history will hold Donald Trump accountable. Pence is expected to challenge Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. We had you for a good concept. 5x5. How else?
NASA Crew Dragon Endurance is returning to Earth following a 5-month stay at the International Space Station. 4 astronauts splashed down on Saturday evening off the Florida coast. Multi-platinum selling artist Wiz Khalifa is coming to California's capital city this summer. The Grammy and Golden Globe nominated rapper is hitting the road and rejoining forces with Snoop Dogg for the high school reunion tour.
I'm looking forward to a Snoop visit as well. You know, bringing the classics and giving people a brand new experience to continue the legacy that we both, or that we all have.
Also joining the tour are Too Short, Warren G, and Burner, featuring special guest DJ Drama. The 33-city high school reunion tour kicks off at July 7th in Vancouver, stopping at Brooklyn, Atlanta, Houston, and more. Olympic diving champion Pat McCormick has died. McCormick was from Seal Beach and won gold in the springboard and platform events in both the 1952 and 56 games. McCormick died on March 7th at a nursing home. She was 92. And Lenny Kravitz is set to perform the In Memoriam tribute during Sunday night's Academy Awards ceremony at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood. Kravitz has appeared in many films, including The Hunger Games and the rom-com Shotgun Wedding. The 95th Oscars will be hosted by Jimmy Kimmel and televised on ABC. Southland weather. Sunday's going to be cloudy in the morning, some more clouds in the afternoon. Highs in the mid-50s to around 60 at the beaches. Inland Metro LA, Orange County, the valleys, Inland Empire, the high deserts. Monday and Tuesday will also have highs in the 50s to around 60. Right now, Dana Point 55, Irvine 59, West Covina 58, Santa Clarita 56 degrees. Really local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Andrew Carabella.
Checking KFI traffic, we do have a crash in the Bloomington area. 10 eastbound at Cedar Avenue, that's blocking the right lane. 2 Willowbrook on the 105 westbound after Central Avenue, car fire on the right shoulder. And 2 Willowbrook on the 105 westbound after Central Avenue, a vehicle fire on the right shoulder. 2 Monterey Park, 60 eastbound Atlantic, crash there along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
Test it. Treat it. Beat it. Where should look at it? Test it, treat it, you can beat it.
Visit youcanfeedit.org or call 833-422-4255. Ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
On Ice-T's Daily Game podcast, the cultural icon unveils words of wisdom and motivational quotes he's collected over the years. No punches are pulled, as Ice shares his special brand of profound and brutal honesty on topics like romance, success, failure, and more.
You can't sit back and say, I'm going to win this game and not go to practice. You still got to play that game. Faith and your mind is just not going to make it happen.
Listen to Ice-T's Daily Game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Planning a spring getaway? This month, get 40% off Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription and explore the world with bite-sized lessons in 25 languages, from Spanish and German to French and Korean, and even Portuguese and Turkish. Rosetta Stone prepares you for real-life conversations and will have you talking from your very
Just be like, hey, what up,
So
man?
visit offer ends March 22nd. Rosetta Stone, how language
For the
is
chain
learned.
gang,
I
for
never
the
chose
dad,
to
or it's
become a
those
gambling
pop
addict,
tops from
but what I
McDonald's,
did
or
choose
that
was
you
to
take
get
that
help
round
from a
McDonald's,
professional counselor.
or those the big
Gambling
cartridges
addiction
that
counseling.
really
Call
they don't.
1-800
Oh my god, I hate that.
Support to
Like,
53342. Brought to you
all
by the
these things got
California
fun
Department
with
of
my
Public
father.
Health.
Like, yeah, and what would happen? You just sit there, it's like, that's what ends up happening.
Yeah, I was way up there and scared to come down.
Hang on,
And
I'll
what?
get them for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thanks, kid. Here you go.
Where did you
I hate-
come
I hate
from?
that
And where's your
even
mouth
idea.
and tape?
What?
Why? 'Cause
Oh,
it was just like
No, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
Wow.
They were up a tree too.
Really?
Your drain was really
Guys
clogged,
just
backing up, and we have to stop that nasty stuff from invading your bathroom.
So you're a hero?
Try to be every day.
I hate
We're
this
Rooter
country.
heroes.
I hate
Wow.
We
everything.
make sure you live in a safe, clean house. So long.
Thanks for rescuing George.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a clogged drain, call Rooter Hero Plumbing and Air. Go online at rooterhero.com.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Injured in an accident? Visit superwomansuperlawyer.com.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk.
The tiptoe in the room. I know you got to have your rest. She says, come lay beside me. I've been waiting since the night. She's sweet to me. Must be the luckiest man alive. Did I tell you, baby, you are the joy of my life? First time that I saw you, I might not get to heaven, but I could walk with
Sarah. Call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Welcome back. Say hello on Twitter at Richard Serrett. John Fogarty. Joy of my life. I'd like to dedicate that one to my mighty Aphrodite, who's fast asleep. 2 stories above where I'm sitting right now. That's from his Blue Moon Swamp LP that came out in 1997, and I think it was also released by Chris Stapleton as a single from his album Starting Over. All right, the Asteroid 2023 DW. I keep saying we have to come up with more romantic names for these celestial bodies and meteors and asteroids and comets and planets that they discover. They give them such cryptic names. Anyway, Asteroid 2023 DW was just discovered in late February, but NASA says it's tracking it closely to learn about its orbital path because the asteroid has a very small chance of impacting Earth in 23 years. The asteroid's diameter is listed at nearly 50 meters. That's about the size of an Olympic swimming pool. It takes to new object is first discovered. It takes several weeks of data to reduce the uncertainties and adequately predict their orbits years into the future. So as for how small the chance of impact is currently estimated to be, NASA puts it at 1 in 560 odds of impact. 1 in 560. Put another way, that's about 0.18%, 0.18% chance of hitting the Earth, or a 99.82% chance that the asteroid will streak harmlessly past our planet. You can read more about this in the news section of the Coast to Coast AM.com. And coming up tonight on Coast to Coast, Connie Willis will be in the air chair, and in the first half, he's known as he was known as the king of fitness. Jack LaLanne was the first person to ever have an exercise program on TV. His wife, Elaine LaLanne, called the first lady of physical fitness, will join Connie again in the first half to discuss aging, health, and cognitive fitness. And she's still doing push-ups at the age of 97, keeping her iconic husband's spirit and advice alive. In the second half, with 45 plus years experience in the fields of electronics, computing, and AI, Charles Ostman has been a senior fellow at the Institute of Global Futures, and he'll talk with Connie about nanotechnology as a core catalyst for accelerating next stage evolution. That's coming up tonight, Saturday night into Sunday morning, with your guest host, Connie Willis, on Coast to Coast AM. Back to more of my conversation plus your calls for Robert W. Sullivan IV as we talk about cinema symbolism right here on Coast to Coast AM.
Tax season can be taxing on your identity because all your personal information is all in one place, getting emailed, shared, and possibly exposed to identity thieves. Tax forms can be like one-stop shops for ID thieves, which means it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. Protection against identity theft is easier with LifeLock by Norton. LifeLock by Norton helps monitor your info and alert you to potential identity threats. And if you do become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it during tax season and beyond. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But you can make sure your identity theft protection starts here. Join LifeLock today. Save up to 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com and use promo code George. That's lifelock.com. Use promo code George to save 25% off. lifelock.com.
Marvelous Entertainment and author Marvin Sunderland have released the newest in action-adventure science fiction that specifically deals with the question, are we
we alone in the universe? This action-packed drama includes a 7-novel masterpiece, comic books, video games, and movies of Sergeant Waggett's journeys across the universe. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series and all future graphic novels. Enter coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase on Marvelous.com. That's MARVALEOUS.com. For a limited time, it's back. The 1-ounce solid silver Ghana alien coin, part of the silver starter kit, exclusively at BullionMax.com/Coast. With inflation on the rising stock market, now's the time to diversify into precious metals that you can store at your home. Go to BullionMax.com/Coast and they'll ship your silver directly to your home, be insured. Now start building your wealth in precious metals at BullionMax.com/Coast. That's BullionMax.com/Coast.
And we are back with Robert W. Sullivan IV, historian, philosopher, writer, lawyer, antiquarian, and we're talking about movies. And before the break, we started to talk a little bit about James Bond. And we wanted to talk about, was it The Man with the Golden Gun or Goldfinger?
Right, no, it's The Man with the Golden Gun. This was I was just going to give briefly just another example of what we were kind of talking about. Is if you ever watch that movie, which is 1975, based on Fleming's novel, the movie is all about using the power of the sun, harnessing the power of the sun. And this is being done by Scaramanga, who is played by Chris Lee, and the Bond girl in it, and in this one was Brett Eklund. What kind of makes this unique a little bit is, at least in my opinion, and again this harkens back to what we were talking about before the break, is this was 1975. If you go back in time, just a mere two or 3 years, I mean, who played the two most famous sun worshippers of them all? It's Christopher Lee and Brett Eklund in The Wicker Man. So again, by putting them in there, it just sort of reinforces this whole, solar undercurrent going on. To have, Lee and Eklund in there, just 2 years earlier, they're, like I said, worshiping the sun in The Wicker Man, and now here you have a movie that's all about technically worshiping the sun, solar energy, solar power, in The Man with the Golden Gun. Again, same sort of idea being carried forward. The use of an actor or an actress to convey to your subconscious mind some sort of occult theme or agenda, or trope or something like that. Very fascinating.
So Ian Fleming, not the director in this case, but was he writing these books and viewing them or embedding occult themes in them, because he had an association with Aleister Crowley during the Second World War? Or was this all done by the director?
No. You will definitely find these hermetic themes in the novels. So, for example, I mean, James Bond himself, 007, is of course John D. Queen Elizabeth I court astrologer. When his signature is when he went to the Holy Roman Empire to undermine Rudolph II, and he was, went as a spy for QE1, when he would write a correspondence back to her, he would sign it 007. The signature was meant to look like eyeglasses or spy glasses. It was two circles with a line over them, then a line down the sign. It looks like 007, indicating that the correspondence was for her eyes only, where he was her eyes in the field. And of course, this is where the term for your eyes only originates. So you have that going on with 007. And again, you are absolutely correct. During World War II, Ian Fleming was Aleister Crowley's handler. And Crowley actually turns up in two of Fleming's novels. He's the villain. In Casino Royale, the chief is Aleister Crowley. He uses an inhaler, and he's a sadomasochist. And when you watch 2006's Casino Royale, you'll see this clearly. The inhaler is in reference to Crowley's asthma, which he developed in the 1920s from chronic drug abuse. And And Crowley, of course, was a sadomasochist, and you'll see this in Casino Royale when he tortures James Bond. So the sheep is actually Aleister Crowley, and so is Blofeld, Ernst Stavro Blofeld, specifically in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Casino Royale is the first Fleming novel. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I believe, is the second one. And this is where Blofeld, the head of Spectre, is running around trying to fake his coat of arms and claiming this is a cross-reference against Aleister Crowley when he was in Egypt, when he was in Cairo. Crowley was holding himself out as Scottish nobility. He was running around calling himself Lord Boleskine and pretending to be Scottish nobility. Of course, he wasn't. So yeah, those two James Bond villains, Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service and the Sheep in Casino Royale, are Aleister Crowley, technically.
I always learn so much when you're on the program, Robert. Thank you for that. Let's go to the phones. East of the Rockies, Stacy is in North. Oh, we don't have Stacy. She dropped off. All right. How about? Oh, it's Stacy is in Northern California. She's just on. She should be on the west of the Rockies, but she's on east of the Rockies. That's all right. Welcome, Stacy.
Thanks for taking my call. I had a question for Robert. He talked about the adult movies, and I have a kid, and I buy him a lot of movies to watch, Disney movies. They seem to be really super full of just blatant symbolism. Some of the movies like Sing 2, Buzz Lightyear, and their newest one, Turning Red, they're so bad that I don't let him have the movies to watch. Why are they putting that into the movies, and what does it mean?
I have not seen those movies per se, but I'm not seeing them. I'm sort of flying blind with it. I have to look at the movie and determine the context of it, but I can tell you that Disney is no different from any of these other Hollywood studios. That movies are usually laden with different things going on. Some of it isn't necessarily too negative. I mean, when you get into the early movies, the fairy tale movies like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and Snow White, these are all retelling of the sun and the moon, the alchemical wedding, the death and the resurrection of the sun, the dawn, things related to astrology and astronomy. I know that the National Treasure, and I've talked about this before, from 2003 is a Masonic ritual. That's the Royal Arch of Enoch. I document that ad nauseum in my book. The movies that you have mentioned, unfortunately, I haven't seen, and I usually make it a point to not comment on a movie that I haven't seen. So without doing that, again, I'd have to look at it and just see the context of what is being presented. But no, you will find this material in children's movies as well. The Smurfs are communists. You'll find the Marx Engels doctrine embedded in the cartoon The Smurfs. So again, this is really nothing new.
Stacy, thank you for the call. I mean, there's some films have a particular agenda, which is separate from maybe what you're talking about, Robert. You're talking about a sort of a hidden theme that's just there to give. It's not necessarily to push an agenda, or am I wrong? It's just to add layers to the film and take part.
Well, it just depends. It depends, Richard. I mean, you can't paint. Unfortunately, you can't paint with broad strokes with this topic. It's individual. You just have to look at the individual movie. Some movies have political. Some movies, are Gnostic. Some movies are alchemical. Some movies do this. Some movies do that. Again, it's just you have to look at the individual movie and take it one movie at a time, as it were. I don't like to paint with broad strokes, and I'm not going to come on here and say, well, every time you see this, it means this. That's erroneous. As a lawyer, that would be like me saying, well, every time someone kills somebody, it's first-degree murder. We know this is not the case. There are surrounding circumstances. There are contexts. It has to be placed contextually.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is there's a difference between an overt, sort of hitting you over the head with an overt political message, let's say, versus kind of an encoded theme or symbolism or what have you. You mentioned that I just wanted to explore that a little bit because I'm fascinated by the reference to the Smurfs and communism. I've only caught fleeting glances of the Smurfs on television. What is the communist reference there?
Right. Well, the Smurfs are communists. They live in the perfect Marx Engels communist society. This is Charles Fourier. This is all the socialists. The utopian is where all this stuff comes from. I mean, if you look, most people have an understanding of communism. They think of China and Russia, and of course, this really isn't what Marx and Engels was really talking about. I mean, if the whole idea with communism was once you rid the world of capitalism, you're in a utopia. And of course, this doesn't work in reality. But I mean, what happens when you implement communism in Russia and China? Well, in theory, in Marx and Engels' theory, there's no government, there's no police. It's utopia. There's no disease. Once you rid the world of capitalism, you always hear people saying, "Oh, we need socialized medicine." No, there's no hospital. No one gets sick anymore. It's utopian theory. Once you rid the world of capitalism, there's no more crime. Well, and this is what you have in the Smurfs. I mean, where's the Smurf hospital? Well, there isn't one. Where's the police? Where's the army? Well, there isn't one. There's no more wars. There's no more crime. When you look at the Smurfs, I mean, they all wear the same outfit. They live in perfect harmony with nature. They each do according to their own. You get the farmer Smurf, the poet Smurf, the smart Smurf. And these are all, of course, run by Papa Smurf, who is, of course, Karl Marx with the long white beard. And, from the French Revolution. These are the proto-Marxists. And, again, there's no Smurf police station. There's no Smurf hospital. There's no Smurf army. It's not necessary. It's utopia. So when you look at the Smurfs, this is the perfect communist society as Marx and Engels envisioned it. And, you look at, like, the character of Gargamel, who's always trying to undermine these guys. You can look at, who's the mortal enemy of the communists. We can look at it as through one of two lenses. It's, the Nazis, Nazi Germany, and you have Gargamel, kind of clad in black, reminiscent of the SS, living in a hovel with a, magic book down in the basement. And Himmler was, of course, obsessed with the occult. Or you can look at Gargamel as the West, as capitalism. Gargamel is constantly after money. He's always trying to make himself wealthier, and of course, this is capitalism at its finest. So you can look at Gargamel as either the Nazis or as the capitalists, who are always trying to wage war against the perfect little Smurf communist society. And again, this is a very when you look at the Smurfs. I mean, what's Gargamel do? He's a wizard. I mean, he uses Kabbalah. He uses magic. He takes the base, the lump of clay and turns it into a living creature. This is Kabbalah. This is golem making. This is Smurfette, arguably one of the most famous golems ever created outside of probably Frankenstein's monster. And she goes into the Smurf society and she's there to undermine it. But of course, Papa Smurf winds up using white Kabbalistic magic and turns Smurfette into the little blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Smurfette that we all come to know and love. When she originally goes in, she kind of is reminiscent of Frankenstein's monster with the black stringy hair. But of course, she gets transformed by the white magic of Papa Smurf. It associates and assimilates into the society. So I mean, when you're looking at the Smurfs, I mean, it's communism 101.
Amazing. If I ever, I'll never watch it the same way again. Obviously. What would you say? Like when I think of occult themes, one of the movies that people mention is The Wizard of Oz, and the guy that wrote The Wizard of Oz is Frank Baum, and he was totally into the occult and the
society, and when you deal with The Wizard of Oz, again, this is one of those movies that's kind of like Midsommar. It's multi-layered, and that always makes it, when you have a movie that's multi-layered, it contains multiple themes going on, that always makes it more interesting. And of course, you have this in The Wizard of Oz, where you really have three layers on top of one another. I mean, the first is you just have this base story of this farm girl going off and having this adventure and going home at the end, reminiscent of something like Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Again, these two stories run parallel. And again, he was into, psychology, parapsychology, and things like that. That's Charles Dodson I'm talking about. And the second theme going on in The Wizard of Oz is the political one, where you have this retelling of late 19th century, the political, socio-economic scene of the United States, where the Wizard of Oz is President William McKinley, Dorothy Gale is Theodore Roosevelt. You have the Cowardly Lion is William Jennings Bryan and Eugene Debs, the socialist.
Just hold it right there, Robert. Sorry for the interruption. We'll pick up on this on the other side. Amazing. Robert W. Sullivan IV. Cinema symbolism. Here's Playing for Change again, featuring Jack Johnson this time, and everyday people taking us into break on Coast to Coast AM.
I'm Andrew Carabello from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The gift bag for presenters at this year's Oscars is worth more than $125,000. The highly coveted swag bags filled with fun getaways, artsy-fartsy stuff, and the very celebrity-centric procedures like plastic surgery, liposuction, and rejuvenation treatments. Speaking of those getaways, how about an all-inclusive stay at a 10-acre Canadian estate worth $40,000? Or resting inside a restored Italian lighthouse for 3 days, that's worth $9,000. An 18-karat gold bracelet with custom gems and beads is worth $1,200. Celebrities who presented the Oscars are not paid, so the bag is compensation for their time. The most expensive bag to date was in 2020 with a total value of $225,000. Oh, almost forgot. One of the most sought-after items in this year's bag? A loaf of Japanese milk bread worth $18. Steve Gregory, KFI News. If I weather, Sunday's going to have highs in the mid-50s to around 60 at the beaches, inland metro AOC, the valleys, IE, and high deserts. We leave local. From the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Andrew Carabella.
Chevy KFI traffic, we do have a crash in South LA on the 110 northbound at Adams. That's blocking the center lane. 2 Willow Brook on the 105 westbound after Central Avenue, a car fire on the right shoulder. And 2 Mission Hills, look out for a wreck on the connector road, 118 eastbound to 405 south. That's blocking the right lane. And through Santana, 22 eastbound at Bristol, crash along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky, I'll get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
When you go to a place of business or hire a business to come to your home, that business has a legal duty to protect you from harm and injury. Yet many times people are attacked, raped, robbed, and even murdered because the business they trusted violated that duty. Some businesses are in high crime areas, yet because of cost, security was not provided, and serious injuries or deaths occurred. Sometimes the lighting in a parking lot or other parts of the business is so dim or not lit at all, so as to allow criminals to prey on that customer. Many times we have cases in hotels, apartments, and in-home services where rape, mayhem, and physical assault occur because of the lack of security or negligent hiring of criminals with records. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com or on your cell phone dial pound wall. That's all. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Forthepeople.com.
On the podcast Really Know Really, join best friends Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden, along with experts, newsmakers, and celebrities, in a search for answers to life's most baffling, intriguing, and annoying questions. You know, those things that make you go, really? No, really?
I think there was a 17-year-old in Rhode Island who ran a candidate that was a deep fake.
Really? Wait, that's news to me. That's Really Know Really right there.
Really, no, really.
Listen to Really Know Really on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
If you own a small business and you got through COVID and you were able to retain 5 or more employees, you could be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Do the math on that one. That's real money. So 10 minutes, and you'll see if your business qualifies for this tax refund. There's no charge up front. They don't get paid until your business gets paid. And businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP and nonprofits, even if you've had increases in sales during COVID. They are experts in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they've already returned over $3 billion to businesses. A six-figure refund.
Okay.
So to find out if your business qualifies, go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button. It only takes a few minutes. Go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Attention Southern California, Semper Solaris is ready to install your solar now and complete your paperwork in time for NEM2. They have teams working around the clock 7 days a week and have processed over 35,000 applications and counting, more than any solar company in California. No one works harder than Semper does with esprit de corps and honor. Go solar American style. Declare your independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor who gets the job done right. Imagine no money out of pocket, no payments until 2024. Call 877-211-5591. Worried about blackouts? Tesla and Enphase batteries are in stock. Plus, Semper offers new furnace and AC systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. Don't wait. Get your solar system installed by Semper Solaris before net metering changes and rates go up even more. For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit sempersolaris.com. Unapproved credit expires 3/31/23. CSLB for 97152.
Get ready to celebrate your favorite podcast in our iHeart Podcast Award. Tune in as the best podcast. Take home awards in categories like comedy, crime, pop culture, and more. Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. And listen on iHeartRadio Tuesday night at 9.
Considering an EV for yourself or your business? Consider the benefits of subscription. I'm Scott Painter, CEO of Autonomy, where an EV subscription is like a lease but way more flexible. It's a debt-free way to get month-to-month access to a new EV. You can even pay with your credit card. Learn more at autonomy.com. KFI AM 640 4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Welcome back. Say hello on Twitter at Richard Serrett. Don't forget the website, strangeplanet.ca.
Are you done?
Strangeplanet.ca. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett
Yeah.
is certainly no stranger to making out there claims about UFOs and aliens. Speaking during a recent interview with Newsweek, Burchett said that he believed the U.S. government had, quote, recovered a craft at some point and possible beings, end quote. He said, I think that a lot of that's being reverse engineered right now, but we just don't understand it, he said. His claims follow on from comments he made back in January after the Pentagon's Office of the Director of National Intelligence released its long-awaited report on UFOs. And you can read more about Congressman Tim Burchett and his out there claims. Maybe they're not so out there. That's in the news section of the coasttocoastam.com. Hey, have you checked out the iHeartMedia and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network yet? This exciting network features podcasts of the paranormal, supernatural, and the unexplained. And Coast is currently featuring Joshua P. Warren's Strange Things, Sandra Champlain's Shades of the Afterlife, and Heidi Hollis's Dark Becomes Light. And you can look for new episodes every Friday. That's the iHeartMedia and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. Check it out. All right, back to more of your comments, questions for Robert W. Sullivan IV as we talk about symbolism embedded in some of your favorite movies. Stay with us right here on Coast to Coast AM.
Having repairs done in your apartment should never come with strings attached, like being harassed and constantly pressured for sexual favors.
What a babe.
It turned into the maintenance man asking, when are we going to get to know each other better?
I needed my air conditioner fixed,
Gosh.
but my building manager repeatedly kept coming into my apartment unannounced and without permission. My landlord told me my rent would be free if I gave him something in exchange.
Sexual harassment by anyone associated with your housing isn't just wrong, it's against the law. The Fair Housing Act protects you from harassment, including someone making unwelcome sexual advances
this happens to you, you can stop it by filing a complaint with HUD.
So I called HUD and filed a complaint against my building manager. No strings attached.
Fair housing. The law is on your side. To learn more, visit HUD.gov/fairhousing. That's HUD.gov/fairhousing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Real people, real stories.
I had acute eczema. I have tried every cream and ointment that you can imagine.
I feel like that's an email.
So I started taking Avora, and at this point, I don't want to ever be without it.
Our little dog developed this lymph problem. The chemotherapy lasted for 6 months. He started developing more lymph nodes that were swelled up.
Yo.
So I thought I'd just try carnivore. The lymph nodes started to
Hey, dog.
go down, swelling did. Then I took him into the vet to get him checked out, and there was no signs at all inside. My cat had issues that you know, so my veterinarian said, you know what, just go ahead and remove the carnivore advertising. So I said, you know what, I'm going to order this product. They did all the tests. I kid you not, this product saved his eye.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORA.com.
Trees, dog. You're in a coal mine. Canary in a coal mine, kids. Yeah, I'm a human, dog.
All right, let's go back to the phones for Robert W. Sullivan IV and cinema symbolism. Let's see.
You squeezed out life out of everyone. Full constrict these motherfuckers. You're an anaconda.
Good morning.
You're an anaconda. Don't ever forget it.
Such an excellent program, both parts. Robert, I'd like you to come out
This
your
somehow,
hand
somebody, I'm
and
attracted
you
to
do
this
with it. I have a brief four-parter with some brief comment, and I'll listen over iHeart. First of all, Robert, are you familiar with the Sophia Stewart story as regards much documentation? At one point, she
that was
even
sick.
won,
Mikey.
probably in the lower courts.
Mikey, cost 16.
The plagiarism of her original conception of the Matrix. Quite a story. She's a black woman. The second part of my question would deal with whether you're
appreciated
to September 11, 2001. A lot of predictive information, and Richard had the good sense to bring S.K. Castain on, who's the most dangerous book in the world, 9/11 as mega ritual. And when we use the term 9/11, further programming, we're saying evil magic. The third part of my question, well, also the Western theory that predicted Trump and his fence, and in that instance, he was sent out of town. And lastly, I'd like to hear about, to the fellow writers out there, about the genesis of your research, which we so appreciate, and also the process of your writing. And if you have my four-part question, I'll listen over the air. Thank you so much, Richard and Rob.
Okay, Maya, thank you. All right, so Sophia Stewart supposedly wrote The Matrix, and it was stolen from her. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, a little bit. I really, that's not my bailiwick. I don't, I've heard so many stories over the years. I can't discern what's real and what isn't anymore with that one.
Okay.
She wins, she loses. It's something that's, I just don't know enough to comment about it.
All right, predictive programming, something we talked about before, and obviously, there's so many examples of predictive programming about September 11th.
Yeah, I mean, the question about September 11th and Trump, there's loads of evidence in film and, in advertising with Trump, that seems to predict these. In 9/11, sure, I mean, you can turn to movies like Fight Club. They destroy the buildings at the end. This is 1999, where he refers to the site as Ground Zero. Fight Club was released. I was looking at this countdown. Fight Club, was released like 2 years, like September 10th or something, 1999, which synced to the Simpsons episode of Homer Simpson versus New York City, which was like September 22nd, 1997. So it's almost like a timing countdown to this. The Matrix with the passport, which is 9/11. If you want to go back further in time, the James Bond movie Thunderball, where Ernst Stavro Blofeld accuses 9 and 11 of embezzlement, and he kills, I believe, number 9 in Thunderball, but then he kills number 11 in You Only Live Twice, which is the next Bond movie. So many examples with that. Trump, you can look at the Soda mattress ad, where he, it's 11/9 or 9/11, and of course November 11th is when he won the presidency. And I'm familiar with the Western show. I talk about that in the book. The only thing
that was Tracked Down from the 1950s.
A Western TV show about the guy named Trump who wants to build the wall. I've seen that segment. The only thing I add to all this is you have to also. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist who gets into the world of the collective unconscious and what he terms synchronicity, that is meaningful coincidences that he claimed was coming out of the world of the supernatural. The Christian mystic, also Emanuel Swedenborg back in the 18th century, also talked about this. He called it correspondences, meaningful coincidences. So when you talk about 9/11 or Trump, you have to also account for that these could be coming out of the world of the supernatural as well. These may not be, programmed per se by some sort of hidden hand. These could be coming out of the world of the supernatural. That has to be also taken into consideration when analyzing this. And again, the two names are Carl Jung and Emanuel Swedenborg. They're very, very highly influential people. And the last thing I think she wanted me to touch on was my research into this. Yeah, this began for me back in 1992, over 30 years ago now, when I was a student at Oxford University. This is when all this began for me. I was a student at Oxford. I spent my junior year there from 1992, 1993 at St. Pat's at Oxford. I went back briefly in 1995, the Michaelmas term. But yeah, this is where I first sort of got, I'd always been interested in the paranormal, the occult, mysticism, UFOs, cryptozoology as a child, as a kid growing up, teenager. And when I went over there, this is where I was really introduced to the idea of the hermetic world, the occult influencing politics, social constructs, people like John Dee, Giordano Bruno, people like that, Freemasonry, secret societies. I'm, of course, a Freemason myself. And it was really my time at Oxford that really showed me the impact of the world of the occult and the hermetic influence on modernity, on the modern world, as it were. And that's where my research began and my writing began into all this. And as Richard has mentioned during the course of the show, there are 5 books out. There are more on the way. And so that's how it all began.
All right. Great questions there from my head. All right. Wildcard line, Kathy's in Pasadena, California. Kathy, good morning. Welcome to Coast.
Hi. How are you?
Well, thank you.
I wanted to say, with in remarks with that lady that was talking about the Smurfs and the swastikas and all that stuff, what happens to all the innocents and the kids that don't really need to hear all that junk? I mean, I am not old, but I do know programs like Leave It to Beaver and things like that were very innocent and yet taught such a wonderful thing about caring about other people and very simple things. And they have made things now into such a horrible, how do I say it? Almost like a sickening, you've got to be gay, or you've got to be this, or you've got to have this in school. And I think that people really just might.
Well, Kathy, but that's not really what Robert is talking about. You're talking about a specific agenda which exists in certain programs, but we're talking about the hidden layers in movies that can sort of play on the subconscious, but can also enhance the movie going experience because of things like occult casting and so forth. But I think we sort of covered that with that earlier caller. Let's go west of the Rockies. Jack is in Alaska. Jack, welcome to Coast.
You're a very interesting guy, Robert. You are. I wanted to ask you, when do you think that the color red became associated with the left? mentioned the fans below in the French, the series of France, the revolutionary, were without pants. They were so poor.
Yeah, correct. The color red is a highly complex subject matter and can mean multiple things depending on the context. Correct. The color red definitely does associate with the red hats of the Sans Culottes, who were your proto-Marxist communists during the French Revolution. If you are dealing with a movie that is alchemical, the color red is critical. That represents something known as the rubido. That is the finishing act, as it were, of the alchemical process. What Carl Jung called individuation. And yeah, I mean, it's red can mean multiple things depending on the context of the film. That's a very good question, but again, can mean multiple things. But yeah, it is a color that definitely associates with the communists. It can also associate with the Nazis. The Nazi banner was red. That had to do with the blood standard from the Munich Putsch. So again, it's all contextual. It just has to be looked at through what context it's being used in.
Okay, Jack, thank you for that. What about the ruby red slippers in The Wizard of Oz? Is that alchemical?
Well, that's very interesting because in the novel they're silver, and if you're familiar with the movie, the Yellow Brick Road, of course, is the gold standard. Well, it's one of many things that William McKinley promoted to back up paper money, and of course, this is why the Emerald City is green. It's paper money. It's the gold standard leads to the creation of paperbacks, greenbacks. The silver slippers were were something known as the free, is a reference to something known as the free silver movement. That is sort of the same thing. It's the use of silver to back paper money, and this is why in the novel she uses silver slippers to lead to the paper money to Emerald City. Unfortunately, when they made the film, the silver slippers didn't show up. They couldn't see them. They kind of it looked like she had invisible feet, as it were. So for aesthetic purposes, the silver slippers were changed to red, ruby. And again, this was more of an aesthetic change of anything else because the silver did not show up when they were filming the movie. You could create the argument that it is definitely a token of alchemical gnosis. Of course, if you're familiar with The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, the story is about, it is a Gnostic trip of revelation. The little girl leaves home, has this magic adventure, and comes to realize, has her Gnostic epiphany at the very end of it, that there's no place like home, which is her gnosis. And in alchemy, the color red signifies the completion of the alchemical process. Alchemy and Gnosticism, it's very, very, very hair-splitting when it comes to those two themes. They walk hand in hand. There is a very subtle difference between the two, though I get into that more in my books. But again, just to echo what I said earlier, the color red, and it is important, but it can mean different things. It's just in the context it's presented.
All right. Wildcard line, Ron in Michigan. Ron, welcome to Coast. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. One of my favorite movies of all times is Laurel and Hardy's The March of the Toy Soldiers. And that movie, in my opinion, is so full of symbolism, good and evil. And at the end, it has one of the best battle scenes of any movie I've ever seen. Your comments, please, sir.
Have you seen Toy Soldiers?
I agree with March of the Wooden Soldiers. It's a movie that I always seem to watch around Christmas as a child. To be brutally honest, I have not seen it in many, many years. It's been quite a while since I've seen it, and since I haven't watched it in such a long time, I'm going to reserve comment on it. I have to go back and watch it again. But it's a great film, and again, it's one of those movies that when I watch it, when I would watch it again, I'm sure it would bring up memories of my childhood because it was always something that seemed to be on around Christmas time when I was a boy in the 70s and 80s. But again, it's been so long since I've seen it. I would just have to go back and see it and see what comes to mind. If I remember correctly, it involved a lot of fairy tales, and fairy tales are ultimately archetypal, documenting the sun and the moon. So I'd have to go back and take a look at it.
All right, Joe. Thank you for that. Let's see. Brendan is in Austin, Texas, on the wildcard line. Brendan, you got to be a last call. We'll have to make it fairly succinct.
Gotcha, 100%. So thank you for letting me on. And I had a super quick question. So I was fascinated with the brain of JFK talk earlier, and I was wondering, from my knowledge, whenever somebody is shot with a bullet, unfortunately, there's a pressure cavity that's created inside of them that collapses within a couple milliseconds, but that can be really big, and a lot of times it liquefies the organ. So what was the brain like? Because I would think that it would be mostly liquefied. So what did your contacts say about what the brain looked like? I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, I have no knowledge of what the brain looked like. That was never brought up. I have no knowledge of that whatsoever. I was told that RFK removed it from the archives and put it in Kennedy's coffin, his brother's coffin in 1967. What condition the brain was in at that time, I have no knowledge of. And I also have no knowledge if the brain was placed in the coffin in some sort of formaldehyde glass container, or if it was removed from that. If it was removed, then obviously this would have disintegrated and deteriorated years ago. But what condition the brain was in when it was removed, I have absolutely no knowledge of.
All right, Brendan, thank you for that rather graphic but interesting nonetheless question, and that reverts back to the earlier when Robert was revealing that a sword, I don't know where those 2 hours went, Robert, but they always go so quickly, and they're always so jam-packed with fascinating information and film trivia and tidbits, and can't wait for cinema symbolism to come out, the Cinema Symbolism 4 to come out. Thank you so much for this.
Well, thank you, Richard, for having me on Coast to Coast tonight. It was my pleasure to be here. I thought the show was terrific, and I look very forward to returning.
All right, we should also point out the website, Robert W. Sullivan, IV, as in the fourth, Robert W. Sullivan, IV.com, right?
That's it, correct. Links there to purchase the books, information about me, www.robertwsullivan.iv.com.
All right, we've also linked up to your website at coasttocoastam.com. People just have to click on your name. All right, my friend, until next time, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Richard. Have a good night.
All right, that's it. George Norrie, George Knapp, Lisa Lyons, Stephanie Smith, Tom Danheiser, Dan Galante, Chris Burrows, Michael Cosio, Donna Walker, Tim Banal, and Sean Ladisor. I'm Richard Serra. Thank you for your ears and your voices, your beautiful voices. Until next time, so long for now.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
If you get a phone call, do not talk to the person.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number, put in a false claim.
Just enough.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it. Call the Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call 855-613-7080.
In this week's Marketers Report, Patrizia Spagnoletto, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust.
Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow.
Go to iHeartResults.com for more. Common sense left California a long time ago. We're bringing it back.
We're here to spread love and tolerance. What? Just lock everyone's soul. I do, because these hypocritical assholes preaching about diversity and tolerance. This is just a random conversation they take among these LA City Council members. A random one. John and Ken, because they're phonies, they're frauds, they're fakes.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
My grandfather convinced me to always have it full, because I'm one of those paranoid idiots.
If there's going to be an earthquake, we got to get out of LA, and I don't want to be the a-hole who stopped on the side of the road,
Telling my wife and my dog, like,
I was going to get gas. The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
I went and got tacos instead. They're really good.
Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. KFI live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
It's not over yet. I'm Andrew Carabella from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. After more than 24 hours, a man is continuing to barricade himself inside a home in Belinda with police outside after an exchange of gunfire. The barricade has been going on since 2:30 Friday afternoon. LA County Sheriff's deputies responded to Lena Lake because of a man shooting at pedestrians. At least one woman was shot and taken to a hospital. LA County public health officials are asking people to stay away from the beaches because of bacteria. Ocean water is likely contaminated with bacteria, chemicals, debris, and trash from the rainfall this week. The advisory started on Friday and continues until Monday. People who go into the water can get sick. A huge sinkhole is threatening at least 2 homes in Camarillo. The 30-foot by 30-foot sinkhole opened up late Friday morning between 2 homes that face Grata Avenue. Emergency officials say the sinkhole is threatening the stability of all homes in the immediate area. The Camarillo Fire Department said 16 people have been evacuated. The sinkhole is likely from nonstop rainfall from the recent storms. And the White House has responded to the 20 recent anti-LGBTQ bills introduced in Florida. Florida's governor called the state the place wokeness goes to die this week. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says that it's not about wokeness. The bills are about hate.
Talking about attacking young kids and their parents because of how they view themselves, because of how they see themselves, because of how they want to live. Kids and their parents.
Jean-Pierre asked the crowd on Friday to think about a kid listening to elected officials talking about how they want to take away their rights or change their parents with felonies for seeking health care for their children. She says the White House will continue to fight for the LGBTQ community. Hollywood's biggest stars are getting ready for the Oscars. This year's frontrunner at the Academy Awards is the science fiction film Everything Everywhere All at Once, which leads the pack with 11 nominations. It's closely followed by the German World War I movie All Quiet on the Western Front and the Irish dark comedy The Banshees of Inisherin, both scoring 9 nominations. The Best Picture race also includes Avatar: The Way of the Water, Top Gun: Maverick, Elvis, and Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. The award will be handed out Sunday night at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood. Taking a look at weather from KFI. Sunday's going to be cloudy in the morning, then the clouds will be partly cloudy in the afternoon. Highs in the mid-50s to around 60 at the beaches, inland metro AOC, the valleys, IE, and the high deserts. Monday and Tuesday will also have highs in the 50s to around 60. Right now, Lisa Viejo, 57, Fullerton, 59, Culver City, 57, and in Arcadia, 59 degrees. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Andrew Carabella.
Checking KFI traffic, we do the crash in South LA on the 110 northbound at Adams. That has all lanes blocked. Through the Bloomington area, 10 eastbound at Cedar, a crash in lanes. And a car fire at Railroad, 105 westbound after Central Avenue, that's along the right shoulder. To Monterey Park, 60 eastbound Atlantic. That's a vehicle fire there along the right shoulder. And to Riverside, 91 eastbound at University Ave, that has a crash there along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
If you're involved in a mildly engaging activity, it does free up your mind for creative thinking.
That's right, walks are really good and showers are good.
You want just a little bit of stimulation.
What a water waster you are.
Being nude helps. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the one animal that is most like us.
And we keep them in a cage all day and all night at a zoo.
I wonder why the zoo
interpretations of the world.
They're wrong. They've been proven wrong. Enough of these people.
I'm not spending the rest of my life arguing with crazy people. Somebody commits a crime, they're in jail. John and Kev, they can't commit another crime.
Live
1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
You know, when they let you rent a car when you're 25.
Accidents, quote, with assault weapons are very different things.
I mean, if you just look at the number of shooters, the average age of school shootings since 1966 has been 18.
Bill Handle.
What does that tell you?
5, 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Our service lines are very busy at the moment, and waiting times are longer than normal.
You know, when we book an airline ticket, we should play that for them for 10 minutes and then come on the phone with them.
Yeah, I know I called you to book an airline ticket, but I got very busy. So it'd be another 10 minutes. The Tim Conway Jr. Show. They told I'm ready to book my flight in 10 minutes. Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand.
If the only thing left is live sports that you really don't want to record and watch later, it just doesn't work as well. No, that's like recording a police chase and watching it the next day. Like, it's over. John and Kev, there'll be another one in a few minutes anyway.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
There are two kinds of people in life. People who say, I'm going to get this done, and they get it done. Simply because they get up in the morning and do the work that's necessary.
And then there's the kind of person,
well, you know, we're going to have some problems doing this, and then there's that, and I guess we could try. Now, John and Kev always bet on the guy who says, I can do it.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Perfect for achy, indecisive muscles. KFI's cooling info gels quickly relieves
did the time jump? So that's one less hour of fucking coast. That's terrible.
And I didn't like it, and I read that the LA Kings are playing in Philadelphia.
University has to pay people some money. But yeah, because people work an extra hour and then they get it back in the spring. But not everybody does that.
Flew back to LA, and I said, F brands, I'm never going back. Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
I got way behind on a bank card right out of high school.
$5,000 limit.
Getting out of high school?
Yeah, I hit that in about a month and a half. And the guy called me every morning at 8 o'clock.
I said, tomorrow I got to catch a plane. Can you call me at 7 as a wake-up call?
And he said, yeah, I'll do that. The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
So if he gets a job, because you owe us $5 grand.
Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
We have people that get titles like heat officer that tell us to get to a cooling center. What are you going to tell people? Hey, go in the shade. Heat officer. Is there another city that has a heat officer? She can go around all day. Hey, it's hot out. John and Ken. I'm sorry, chief heat officer, which means she probably has deputy heat officers.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
There's no law that says you're going to have criminals equally distributed among all demographics.
We don't have many women in prison, and nobody makes that argument that men are disproportionately sent to prison.
We need to release more men because they're being punished disproportionately.
John and Ken.
Well, that's basically what we're doing. We're releasing, in most cases, men.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
But it sounds better when I say it. Doesn't it sound better with a female voice? Yeah.
Except the times when you say the F word at that time. And it's a little hard.
I haven't said the F word yet today.
Oh, yeah, I did. You said it a lot.
Jerry and Shannon, live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
KOSD-HD2. Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Family tragedy in the Valley. I'm Andrew Carabella from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A man has been arrested for alleged stabbing and killing his mother in Porter Ranch. The man walked into the LAPD's Devonshire Division Police Station on Friday and told cops he thought he hurt his mom. Cops went to the home inside the guard-gated community of the Heights at Porter Ranch and found the mother dead. Former Vice President Pence has unleashed his harshest criticism yet of former President Trump for his role in the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Pence made the remarks on Saturday evening at the annual White House Gridiron Dinner, where politicians and journalists gathered in Washington, and said, I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day. The former VP said he knows history will hold Donald Trump accountable. Pence is expected to challenge Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. We had you for a good 5x5. How else?
NASA Crew Dragon Endurance is returning to Earth following a 5-month stay at the International Space Station, where astronauts splashed down on Saturday evening off the Florida coast. Multi-platinum selling artist Wiz Khalifa is coming to California's capital city this summer. The Grammy and Golden Globe nominated rapper is hitting the road and rejoining forces with Snoop Dogg for the high school reunion tour.
I'm looking forward to Snoop as well. Bringing the classics and giving people a brand new experience to continue the legacy that we all have.
Also joining the tour are Too Short, Warren G, and Burner, featuring special guest DJ Drama, the 33-city high school reunion tour, stopping at Brooklyn, Atlanta, Houston, and more. Olympic diving champion Pat McCormick has died. McCormick was from Seal Beach and won gold in the springboard and platform events in both the 1952 and 56 games. McCormick died on March 7th at a nursing home. She was 92. And Lenny Kravitz is set to perform the In Memoriam tribute during Sunday night's Academy Awards ceremony at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood. Kravitz has appeared in many films, including The Hunger Games and the rom-com Shotgun Wedding. The Oscars will be hosted by Jimmy Kimmel and televised on ABC. Southland weather. Sunday's going to be cloudy in the morning, some more clouds in the afternoon. Highs in the mid-50s to around 60 at the beaches. Inland Metro LA, Orange County, the Valleys, Inland Empire, and the high deserts. Monday and Tuesday will also have highs in the 50s to around 60. Right now, Dana Point 55, Irvine 59, West Covina 58, then Clarita 56 degrees. Really local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Andrew Carabella.
KFI traffic, we do the fashion South LA on the 110 northbound at Adams. That has all lanes blocked. Through the Bloomington area, 10 eastbound at Cedar, fashion lanes. And a car fire at Willowbrook, 105 westbound after 70. That's along the right shoulder. Through Monterey Park, 60 eastbound Atlantic. That's a vehicle fire there along the right shoulder. And through Riverside, 91 eastbound at University Ave, that has a crash there along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster.
The crash is coming. You can feel it in your gut. According to Time Magazine, major investors who predicted the 2008 crash see another on the way. Bloomberg predicts that the U.S. housing market looks headed for its worst slowdown in years. To hedge against it, there's only one asset that's safe, liquid, and has outperformed stocks 3-1. Rare coins. For insider access to coins with the greatest growth potential, there's only one place to go. Tangible Investments is America's top rare coin dealer, and its CEO, Sil DeGenova, is the undisputed expert on this private portable asset class. For over 35 years, Sil's coins have increased 10, 20, even 25 times. He's been featured on CNBC, the History Channel, and quoted in the Wall Street Journal. Get the only asset that safeguards your future while generating incredible gains.
Call Tangible Investments for a free investor kit and copy of the award-winning documentary Why Money Became Worthless.
800-711-2800. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800.
Hey, Yuma, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work.
On Ice-T's Daily Game podcast, the cultural icon untouchable as Ice shares his special brand of profound like romance, success, failure, and more.
You can't. You still got to play that game. Faith and your mind is just not going to make it happen.
Listen to Ice-T's Daily Game on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
To me, the most important word in the world is dignity. There are certain God-given rights to be found if dignity hangs in the balance. You only pay us if we recover for you. Call us for a free consultation. Dial pound law on your cell phone. That's pound 29. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.